Hi, it's me, Daphne. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be watching a video I made at the start of 2023. That's right, I know it's 2024. All the way back in 2023 when I made my 23 books to read in 2023 to see how many of those books I already read. To be fair, I did track a lot of these books in my little reminders app on my phone so I could check to see like, oh yeah, I wanted to read that book. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So I do have an idea of how well I did, but I haven't looked at it in a while. It's middle of January. Obviously that list is dead now. So let's reflect. Be forewarned that the audio quality in this older video is not nearly as good as this new setup that I have, but we're gonna power through. Starting off, I want to read Heart Recaptured. This is the second book in the Hades Hangman series. Okay, so this book, like I said in the previous clip, is a part of a series. I really enjoyed the first one. It's about like a cult and a motorcycle club, and it's very dark, but there was all this drama with the author and some of the other books that she's written in this series or like related to this series that were really sus, and she ended up getting like taken off KU, and I was like, okay, that's canceled. So I did not get a chance to read the second one, even though I don't think people had any like major issues with the second one. So I have not read it, and I don't want to anymore. Then I want to read Elsie Silver's new book in the Chestnut Spring series, Powerless. This one, I believe, is a... Okay, I messed this up. I can't believe I didn't read any more Elsie Silver in 2023. I really wanted to. I don't know, I just got like trigger shy or like prioritize it. You know what I think it is? I want to read her stuff in order, and I feel like her first series slightly ties into this Chestnut Spring series because I like reading things in order. I just haven't continued the Chestnut Spring series because I want to do the backlist of her stuff, but then I'm like, and then I just didn't read it. So that's my bad. I still really want to. I want to read all her stuff because I only hear great things. So have not read, but I still want to. I think I'm gonna pick up Birthday Girl first. It's a little, I don't know, like
what?
Her books, the premises
confused.
give me the ick a little bit, but like, I'm confused because I didn't remember I read that in 2023. I read this and I really, really liked it. If you've been interested in trying Pendy's books, she does a really good job at these taboo romances and like making them work and making them not weird. Granted, I've only read 2 so far, but I've added more books of hers onto my 2024 TBR, so hopefully I will reprioritize her stuff because they're really fun. So yeah, I read this one. Successful. I want to continue another series. This one is a Wolf Shifter series. This would be the 3rd book. It's called Carnal Secrets. For some reason, the male character... Carnal Secrets is another book that I did in fact read, so check that off the list. This is a Wolf Shifter romance series. Each book is about a different couple. I really, really had fun with the first book. The second book was also pretty fun, but I liked the first book the best. And then the third one was not that good, and I kind of knew it wasn't going to be as good going into it because all of the reviews were like, where's the romance, where's the pining, like this isn't up to the standard of the other ones. It was a little bit disheartening, but I eventually did get to it. I had to agree with most of those statements. This particular book was about an alpha male who rejected his fated mate, and she was like, fine, if you don't want me, I'm gonna just leave and do my own thing. And she kind of like disappears. She like doesn't want him to be around her because it's torturous for her, and he's like, wait a second, I can't live without you, so he goes after her. And then there's like all this drama with extremists who are against werewolves, like extremist humans that think shifters, because there's a bunch of different types of shifters in this world, are horrible, and they're just like basically racist against the shifters. And that backstory kind of takes the forefront. It's not even a backstory, it's like that is the main plot, and the romance just progresses at a speed that's like weird, and it just like wasn't that fun and it wasn't that steamy. And then Sanctuary with Kings by Catherine Moon is coming out apparently in 2023. This is the 3rd one in the Tempting Monsters series. Sanctuary of Kings, I am literally in the middle of. I've been in the middle of it for probably at least a month and a half, 2 months. I think I'm just a little burnout on why choose. I am not having that much fun with it. I just don't care about these characters, so I basically soft DNF'd it. I might force myself to finish it. I don't see any upcoming books in the series. If there were upcoming books in the series, maybe I would push through and like force myself really to finish it, but like maybe it'd be better off if I just hard DNF. You know what? I'm gonna mark this as red. No, I'm not, because filming Daphne forgot to physically mark Carnal Secrets as red, so the count is off. So me editing Daphne is not going to count Sanctuary of Kings at all. That way, at the end of this video, I say the count correctly. Sorry about that. I don't know how far I am. I think I'm maybe 30-ish% of the way through. And then I have a couple KU books that I've downloaded for a while based on some of my favorite romance booktubers recommendations. So one of them is Blide Side. I think this is like a football forbidden romance. And then I have Waking Olivia, which is another kind of sports romance. The main girl is a runner. These two books, Blide Side and Waking Olivia, I have both read in 2023. I continued the Blide Side series to the third one and read that as well. So yes, very successful sports romance books. I enjoyed both of these very much. The Blide Side one is a like running back or something, and it's his romance with this like nerdy girl. She's trying to get the attention of some other guy. The football guy recently got dumped by his girlfriend, so he's like trying to make his ex-girlfriend jealous, so they form this like fake dating relationship. He's kind of teaching the nerdy girl how to be like sexy and like be like attractive or whatever, and like teaching her like sexual lessons or whatever. So it's a fun new adult time for sure. And then Waking Olivia is a running sports romance where Olivia is a track and field runner, but she has a dark past. She's haunted by nightmares. She's a bit of a troublemaker, and it's her taboo relationship with her coach. So yeah, that was a very successful read. Also, it went way darker than I had ever expected. Trigger warnings for like weird relationships with food when it comes to Olivia as a runner, just FYI. So that's two more books read, yes. And then I want to read Funny Feeling. This is another one that's been doing the circle for a while. Funny Feeling, I did not read. It's interesting. It's a romance between a comedian or like two comedians, and it's just a topic I've never experienced before in a romance. So I'm still intrigued by that, but I'm just like haven't been that drawn to it every time I see it on my Kindle. Like it's been downloaded on my Kindle for a while, so I should just like give it a try. I don't know, is it gonna be a funny book? I hope it's a funny book. Maybe when I need like a palate cleanser, like just give me some joy, I'll finally pick it up. So I still want to read it even though I haven't read it yet. Another one that Jess and like that group of girls has been talking a lot about is The Words. This one is a chunky book, like it might be like over 500 pages, but they all say like it's worth the payoff. Like The Words is another book that I have downloaded on my Kindle. I think this one might be a heavier read. I think it's a rock star romance. So yeah, I do want to read this still. It's really a chunky boy, and I just haven't made the time for it. So it's still on my radar. Who knows when I'll get to it. I'm trying to mood read a lot more in 2024, so we're just going off vibes. Okay, I'm in the middle of like 4 books just because I'm like, yeah, like I want to read that. So did not read The Words, but I still really want to. And then another one is A Love Letter to Whiskey. I think this is by Candy Steiner.
No.
I listened to her. I haven't read this one either. I still want to. I really like Candy Steiner's writing. She's the one that wrote Blide Side that we just talked about. I think this is a darker one, a more adult story about like maybe wrong time, wrong place, best friends, like wife or something. I could be making so much stuff up. I think there's like alcoholism in there, and I think maybe it's biracial. Haven't read it, but I still really want to. I want to continue reading Mariana Zapata, so I've picked Under Locke. This is just a synopsis that I'm the most interested in. I think it has to do with like a motorcycle. I haven't read this one either. I didn't read a single Mariana Zapata in 2023, I don't recall. I should change that in 2024. I gotta put her back on my radar. I feel like out of the books that I read in 2023, too many of them were just waste of space books. Too much wasted time, okay? Let's prioritize the authors that I've read and had success with, and the books that I'm excited about, and things that I hear good things about, versus like too many random filler books. Because how did I not read a single Mariana Zapata? I don't even know that much about this one. It has to do with motorcycles. I didn't read it. I still want to. Let's keep going. Then I'm desperate to read a Catherine Cowles book. I'm gonna start with Tattered Stars. This is like maybe like a 4-book series. I read this one, so this is a suspense romance. I read the first one, I haven't continued on. It was okay. I think it was a little bit too focused on the thriller aspects for my taste, and I wanted more of the romance. That pining, that build-up just didn't deliver enough for what I had expected or wanted. So it was a solid read. I'm glad I read Catherine Cowles for the first time now, but it didn't like super excite me to continue on with the series, but I probably will at some point. But then again, like there are so many other books, like I just said 5 seconds ago, that I need to prioritize that I'm like even more excited about. So moving into the books that I physically own, the first one I have is Things We Never Got Over. This one has been getting really good reviews too. I can't with this book anymore. I can't. I did not read this book still, and I still want to. If you've been here for a while, I've put this book on so many lists and I have not read it. At that point, I hadn't read a single Lucy Score book, and I thought that was gonna be the first one I read. And then I eventually acquired 3 Lucy Score books in total. I ended up reading one. The first one was a Christmas one, and I'm currently in the middle of another one, but it's not this book. So I still haven't read Things We Never Got Over, or whatever it's called, but I promise I will at some point, considering I own it. It's like my biggest shame right now on this channel. Okay, I did not read it, I still want to. Also, obviously, if you want to know more details on the plots of these books that I'm like flashing up here, I'm gonna link the original video of mine so you can just listen to the synopses in more detail, because I'm not gonna talk about it in detail for all of these. It's mostly like my reactions to stuff. If you want the detail, definitely check that video out after this one. Then I have Babel. So this is a bit of a drama. I got this when it released initially, which I think this is a bit of a drama. I still haven't finished this book. I'm halfway through it. It's a medium DNF. It's like beyond a soft DNF, but I'm not gonna get rid of it. I have a signed copy. I think it's a beautiful concept for a book, but I'm just like honestly kind of bored reading it. So maybe another time and place I will enjoy it. I actually got the audiobook from the library recently. I was like waiting for like weeks and weeks and weeks, but then I ended up just returning it. I'm like, I'm not in the mood to read Babel again and like give that a try. So it's like, it's just like another blight I have. I still like semi want to read it, but like maybe in a few years versus like in 2024. 2024, I'm not gonna concern myself with Babel. We'll still count it as still want to read. And like I read half of it. Unlike the other one, it just feels more unfinished because I definitely don't want to DNF it. I just needed more action. It's just so slow and tense, and I was struggling so hard, so I had to put it down. But I am gonna finish it in 2023. I don't think I'll start over unless like I said I was gonna finish it in 2023. I didn't even pick it up. Then I want to read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This was the best book of the year according to Book of the Month. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, I did read. I read that right at the start of 2023. Absolutely loved it. This is a beautiful, artistically crafted piece of literature, and I would recommend it to anyone. So happy I read that. One of my favorite books of like all time that I will always praise. So another one read. We're not doing terrible. I know we're not winning, but we're not doing terrible. Another one I have is Dark Lover by J.R. Ward. This is a vampire romance. Dark Lover, I have not read yet. I still really want to. I've put it on at least one TBR. I don't know, I just didn't pick it up. I think I'm just having a harder time with physical books, like reading them. My Kindle is just my baby. Yeah, I don't know. I have no excuses. I just didn't read it. I'm sorry, but I still want to. I own it. I know it's a big like series too, so I am intrigued to like dive into that. But yeah, that is a little intimidating also in its factors to be like, okay, I'm gonna be committing, hopefully enjoying like a pretty large series. I wanna love it, but it has to be the right time and mood. So I did not read, but I still want to. This next one, I did jump on the bandwagon of getting it. I was really, really interested, and that is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I did read I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I listened to her audiobook where she narrates it herself. It was very interesting, eye-opening, heartbreaking, shocking. I applaud her for being open and wanting to share her story with the world, because she definitely didn't have to do that. 5-star read for sure. Then I want to read The Dragon Republic. I really want to reread The Poppy War, get to this one, Dragon Republic. And I have not read The Dragon Republic yet. I still want to read the Poppy War trilogy, like kind of back to back to back. I read the first one, The Poppy War. I was planning on getting to Dragon Republic, but then I was like, do I want to do it for a book club thing, a buddy read thing? I have to make some official plans for that in 2024 if I'm going to read it, because I would like to share that experience with you guys in vlog format, in book club format, whatever way to get to the end of the trilogy. So yeah, I have not read that one yet. Similarly to the Poppy War series, I do want to get to the Jade City series as well. I would love to binge all 3. Jade City, I did in fact read, check it off, and I completed the entire trilogy. I absolutely loved every second of that series. I mean, some parts were very political and were, you know, slower, but the payoff was so good overall. The first book was my favorite in the series. I would recommend that book to anyone that loves fantasy, who wants to try urban fantasy, who likes gangster movies and like martial arts stuff and family and honor and like all that stuff. It was really, really good. I loved it. The next book I want to talk about is this one, American Royalty. I picked this up a couple months ago. American Royalty, I have read. Congratulations to me. This is a story about a Black female singer and a like prince of England or something. He's like some kind of person in the royal family. I think he's the prince, and he's trying to throw this charity event, and he hears of this artist named Duchess, which is our main character, and is like, yeah, just sign Duchess up, like she must be a classy lady, and doesn't realize she's like this like sexy, ultra sensual kind of woman and artist. So he's very shocked to see her when she shows up to like, you know, get the event organized and like figure out what's going on, and he's so attracted to her. So it's him trying to resist her, but like being so intrigued by her, and it's their romance. It was a fun time. I will say for the writing, it was a little inconsistent with like the steamy bits. Sometimes it felt almost fade to black, and then other times it like really went there, and then I was just like confused. But I read it, so let's congratulate me. The count is 9 read, 9 still want to, 1 don't want to. Wow, that's really good. That's good odds. Pretty good, pretty good. That might be the last one. This next one I actually put on a December TBR, but I didn't have time to get to it. It's quite chunky, and it is The Devil in the Dark Water by Stuart Turton. He is the author of 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. So I have not read this. It is a 5-star prediction, and it's also causing me the 5-star fear of like putting so much pressure on wanting to love it that I don't end up reading it. I told my mom about this book like last month, and she's already picked it up and probably finished it by now. Whereas I've had this book for probably definitely over a year, because this is the start of 2023. I already had it. It's the start of 2024. So over a year, and I haven't read it yet because I'm scared. Not like that I think the book is going to be scary. I'm just scared that I'm not going to like it as much as I hope to like it. So maybe I should just try and lower those expectations and just give it a try, because it's not that serious. It really is not that serious. So I still really want to read this, and I'm sad to say that I didn't read it in 2023 like I should have. The last 2 books, I have 2 nonfiction books. I've started both of them, but I need to finish them. It's one of my goals in 2023 to actually finish the nonfiction books I start. So the first one is 400 Souls. This is a collection of... I didn't even touch this book at all this year. I didn't flip a single page. And I also own the audiobook, which actually really helps. I was using the audiobook and like reading with my eyes at the same time and annotating. Probably, I guess, in 2022 at this point. But just something about me and nonfiction that really struggle, because also this is like about Black history and like slavery and like all the horrible prejudice and things that were built into the system against people of color and like all this sad, horrible stuff. And like, I don't know. I'm like, should I put it by my bedside so I can read a chapter in the morning or read a chapter at night? Because they're very short. They're only like 3 to 5 pages a chapter. But I'm like, do I want to start my day off in like a sad note? Do I want to end my day on a sad note? You know what I mean? So I just don't touch it. I should put it on my coffee table and just like try to pick it up at my lunch break or something. This is on me. I really want to like absorb the information from this book. I just don't want to be upset. But at the same time, like, it's the sacrifice you gotta make to absorb the knowledge. I did not read this, but I still want to, but it's probably gonna take me, honestly, like a long time to finally finish it. And then the last book on this list for 2023 is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I already knew I wasn't gonna have read the last book because I was saying it was a nonfiction. I started this a long time ago. I haven't picked it up since. I didn't flip another page in 2023. I think there's good insights in there for sure. I mainly bought this because at the time I was having difficulty like connecting with other people, you know, coming out of COVID, working remotely, being at home alone all the time. But I've been seeing a therapist for a long time, and like I feel like those hurdles that I wanted out of this book, I've already made progress in different ways, like from speaking to my therapist and just like getting more experience and like connecting with people online and making friends with people in my building and making friends with their friends, and like I just have like a lot more going on, reconnecting with college friends. So like I'm a lot happier with my connections and relationships in my current moment in life. So I didn't really feel the need to pick that book up, but I'm sure there are a lot of cool tips and tricks in that book. It's very like popular, so maybe I'll still like read it at some point, but I don't feel like I need it like I used to feel. So that's a book that I didn't read and still maybe kind of want to, since I own it, like I might as well, but like not in a rush. So for 2024, I don't want to read it necessarily. So let's just mark it that I don't want to read it right now. Our final count is 9 books read, 11 books that I did not read but still want to, and 2 books that I did not read and don't necessarily want to anymore. So I read about 39% of this list, which doesn't sound as good, but like honestly, like I don't really think it's that bad. Most of these, like this list is just a suggestion, and I referenced it and I read what I wanted to read at the time. So I did my best, and this is what I have to show for it. That's all I have for this video. I hope you found it entertaining. If you liked it, please feel free to leave this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it, and obviously it helps out my channel. And I will catch you in another video. Bye!